Hello everyone, this is a Yamaha PSR 9000 Pro studio keyboard. Amazing sounding keyboard. In my opinion, a must have if you like your older music gear. On this keyboard we have these two black keys. At the very end in there, they have the little hooks that latch on to the key bed. Those hooks are broken off, and for that reason these keys are loose and they are also sticky when you press them down or when they're coming back up. So I'll take this guy apart and fix these. Also, you can use this video as a reference if you need to disassemble, replace a key, replace LCD or any of these control buttons. So let's take this guy apart. I have the keyboard upside down on the floor. You can do this on a desk or a table if you need to. So you will need to remove all these screws in the back of the keyboard, and then these on the sides, some in the middle, here and there, same on the other side. This section here is for your floppy drive. If you are looking at the keyboard from the front, undo these screws, this bit comes off, and then your underside panel is free to come off to one side, and look at the internals of this keyboard. Pure quality. These keyboards are what, 25, 30 years old? And they're just built like a tank. Anyway, so if you need to replace your floppy, there is a couple of screws just in there. Unplug the connector, swap the floppy, or if you need to replace your LCD, you find these three sections with these boards. The one in the middle, undo these screws. There's a screw under this board here, some here, and this board comes out, and you can access the LCD. Or if you need to replace the front control buttons, then this board has the screws. Undo the screws, board comes out, and you can replace whatever you need to. And to free the key bed from the keyboard frame, if you look in this corner here, there's this small board. It has this connector, and you lift the top part of that connector up, and then you are able to release this ribbon cable. Quite easy, and that's out of the way. And then also this board has two screws, one here, one here. Undo these screws and put this board out of the way. And now in this corner here, you've got a couple of screws on this very end of the key bed. There's one over there, and if you look under this cable or this loom, you will find this bracket. There are three brackets. One, there's two, and there's three. These brackets have screws on the top section and screws on the inside section here. There. So 3 screws each bracket. You undo these screws, which are on this side of the bracket, not this side of the bracket. So 3 here under this loom, 3 here and 3 here. You are able to lift the key bed slightly to the left, up and out, and that will free the key bed. Now also, before I forget, don't forget to unplug these connectors. There are 2. Push them out of the way and you'll have the key bed out, free from the frame. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that I have the 2 black keys that I pointed out. They have a broken hook section on the frame. So if you look here, this guy here, the plastic section at the top here is missing. It should look like this, so it's like a hook shape. So because that's broken off, the keys become loose back and forth, and it's also sticky up and down. So what I've done is I've drilled a very tiny hole just in that corner in an angle, and I got myself a very small screw like this guy here. You can find one of these on a calculator if you have one lying around in the house, or I don't know, there are many things around the house that you can pinch one of these screws from. So I've drilled a hole in the corner, and then I've screwed this screw in, and that holds the key into its place, and it's a very good solution for this brake, or you can always replace the key with a new one. Let me quickly show you how the screw. I need to put the phone down, just give me a second. So if you look, I've got the screw there, you screw that in, so the tip of that screw becomes like a hook, and you have yourself a fixed key. If you don't have a drill to make a hole in that broken section, you can get yourself a nail and a plier. You heat up the nail on a candle or on your cooker, and what you want to do is you want to melt a hole on that very edge or the corner where the plastic piece is broken off. Once the key bed is out of the keyboard, and for you to replace a broken key or a badly defaced key, you will find this strip at the back of the keys. You will need to pull this strip up. If you are replacing any keys around this area here, then you don't need to take the whole strip out. But if you are working somewhere in the middle, then you will have to remove the whole strip. So once again, you pull the strip up. So what I'm going to do, I'll remove this key here to show you how you can replace this key. So you turn the key bed upside down, and on this end of the frame you will see these tabs, which are the end of the key. So once you've pulled that strip up, and if you press this down, that will push the key out, and the key bed around, and then you can release this key just slightly this way, a little bit, just a touch, and then up. In here you will find this metal piece which sort of sits in between the key and the frame. This is like a spring that brings the key back up when you play it. So when you replace your broken key, make sure this end of this metal piece, where there is this little cut that sits in there, making sure this section of the key on the underside, this metal strip goes under it, and it has to sit just in this section here. If you lack patience, then this will be a torture putting back together. So you push this up to this point here, and you will see this end of this metal piece sits on top of this little pointy section of the key. So now what you want to do is that this end of this piece, it has to slide in there. So you come from the top, you see this section of the key here is what hooks into the frame. So what you want to do is you sort of bring the key from the top it will slide in, and hopefully that metal strip has gone into that little slot, and if you push the key in, and that will lock the key back in where it belongs. No, it's not gone in. Let me try again. See, that strip or that metal piece has moved, so it can't be like that. So we try again. Once again, it sits on this pointy bay of the key on the underside. So we come from the top, take your time, don't rush. I think I'm in, and then it locks in. Once the key is in, make sure to put the strip back on this rail, and then you will do the reverse of the disassembly procedure. When you're ready to put the back cover back onto the keyboard, make sure all these cables and all these looms are not in front of the screw holes, or they're not blocking the hole for the screws for the panel. So there are a few corners that you want to be careful of. There's one here, so make sure this loom's not in the way. Some here. so when you put the cover back on, you have no problems. Once you've put everything back together, a quick test, I would say that's a success. Thanks for watching, and speak to you guys soon.